It's hard to stay hopeful. It's easy to feel small. Those who think that they are rich might say that we are poor. They may have all the stuff, we've got more. May have all that stuff, but we've got more.
Oh, who's that? Oh, come in. Oh, hello, how are you? Come in, make yourself comfortable, and welcome to Have a Cup of Tea with Doonican, episode 6. I want to start by saying thank you to all the people who have been listening so far and giving me feedback and encouragement. I really appreciate the fact that people have been spending their precious time with me. And I also appreciate all the people who have given me ideas of how to improve and develop this endeavour. Now, I have realised that there are 3 elements to this podcast. Promoting my songs, promoting emotional well-being in general, and that this podcast, this vessel of light entertainment, is also therapy for me. So thank you for your part in my therapy. I also appreciate the people who have took time to ask me questions. One of those questions was, Doonican, are you a real person? Well, the answer to that question is complicated. I think I am real. Yes, I am real. And I am also a fictional character who, if I bear any resemblance to any people's living or dead, I must be clear, that is entirely coincidental and definitely not the case. I hope that has cleared things up, and thank you for asking. Perhaps it would be a good idea to give you a little information about my background. I first performed as Doonican in 1983 at a festival in a suburb of Birmingham here in England. My previous life had been a mystery to me. It has been rumoured that I was the love child, that's a product of a romance, between the late Queen Elizabeth, may she rest in peace, and the undisputed king of light entertainment, Mr. Doonican. But that, due to the potential scandal, I was squirreled away, and after a transaction, I was brought up by a travelling family here in the UK. I have to say, this story seems unlikely to me, although I have no evidence to disprove it categorically. I am not, nor have I ever been, a member of the Bar Steward Sons of Doonican, although I do admire their work, and indeed I have shared a stage with them on 2 occasions when I was a member of a band called the Maharis, and both our bands had the pleasure of supporting the fantastic The Levellers. That was in Northampton and Coventry. My aim is to provide light entertainment for heavy people. I have been described as a hot soup of Doonican, which is obviously a great honour, John Shuttleworth, who is, as you know, I'm sure, a fantastic singer-songwriter, Alan Partridge, media legend, and Che Guevara, rebel, freedom fighter and former health professional. I am obviously unworthy of these comparisons, but I will strive to make them appear more reasonable. Now, I am a light entertainer and you are heavy people. By that I mean you have body and significance. You are weighty people, willing to deal with the world in all its magnificent glory, its suffering and cruelty, its passion and love, its clarity and confusion. And yet you keep laughing, smiling and loving, and I thank you for that. Right, that was important to clarify, wasn't it? Where are my manners? Let's get the kettle on. The usual for you. This week, I'm going to see if I can apply the 6 strategies from the Judge Not episode 5 last week to one of the areas, groups of people that I struggle not to be judgmental towards. A group of people towards whom I experience powerful, judgmental, negative and prejudicial thoughts and feelings. That group is Billionaires. In episode 5, alongside my good buddies Leroy, Dan and Eddie, we argued that being judgmental was bad for our emotional well-being, and that equally avoiding being judgmental, reducing our judgmentalness, is good for our emotional well-being, our mental health, our happiness and contentment. So I do have a problem with billionaires, despite the fact that I have never knowingly met one. My vision of a billionaire is that they worship money. If the love of money is the root of all evil, then surely nobody loves money as much as a billionaire. Therefore, they are the root of all evil. Who was that man who said, "Behind all great wealth is a great crime"? Well, I know it was the French writer Balzac, because I just looked it up. That makes sense to me. Business isn't a crime. Earning money through labour, exchange of goods or services isn't a crime if it's fair and proportionate. Exploiting people, making huge profits, tricking people, conning people, those things are at least moral crimes, if not legal crimes. So yes, I am judgmental of billionaires. I think they are all evil. So, today I'm going to run through the 6 strategies and test how they can work against my judgmental, negative attitude against billionaires. And after testing the first 2 strategies, time-wise I think we'll be about halfway through this week's podcast. So at that point I will play this week's song. It's called We've Got More, which I released last year, 2025, as the Cartoon Killers. If you like the song, you can find it on all the usual digital outlets, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, etc. There you go. So, strategy 1, spot the judge. As pointed out above, I am aware of my prejudices against billionaires. As an example, in the song We've Got More, I suggest that an entirely fictional billionaire's family is better off without him after he dies in a helicopter crash. That is not nice at all, is it? I suggest in that song that despite being a billionaire, this fictional person is still unhappy and seeks to buy popularity, fill his empty soul by buying a football club, trying to win the adulation of strangers whilst ignoring the welfare and well-being of his wife and children. This is how I currently see billionaires, as people who, lacking a soul, lacking the ability to love people, loving only money, attempt to fill that unfillable void by obtaining money and power. Constantly feeling empty, they feel jealous of us ordinary people and do all they can to crush us further. Always bitter and resentful of the fact that, although they have everything money can buy, we, the ordinary people, poor you could call us, they probably call us, we have more love, more community, more sense of belonging, etc. So, there you go. My negative judginess of billionaires is well and truly spotted. Oh, I wonder who that is. I thought you were never coming. Oh, you're never going to turn around. Oh, no, sorry, Carl. No. Oh. Go on. Yeah. Well, look who we've got, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Leroy. Hello, Dan. Nice to see you as always. I thought you weren't going to make it. I've started recording. Oh, I'm sorry, Carl. We knew it's a tight schedule. We were on our way a couple of hours ago, but Eddie got a message that his caravan is in danger of flooding. So we had to turn round and drop him back at his car so he can drive over and sort it out. Oh no, poor Eddie. I don't know why he's so worried. He's always moaning about how his van stinks a bit since you spilled that can there, Cal. The flood water will give it a good clean. Ha 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 ha! Go on, pat the kettle on, then I am parched. And me, my throat's like the bottom of a budgie's cage. OK, dear friends, Cal has filled us in on where you got to before we arrived. So I'm going to take it from strategy 2, swap the judge for the investigator. Now, as I identified last week, the investigator asks questions, is relentlessly curious, and tests the assumptions of the judge. So, let's do that. Question 1. What is a billionaire? Well, the head of the Green Party of England Wales, Zach Polanski, gave a very illuminating example of how much money a billionaire has. So old Zachy said, if you go back 1 million minutes, you reach 2023. OK, well, yeah. Go back 1 billion minutes, you reach the Roman Empire. Whoa. There you go. Very clear, isn't it? Yeah, well done, Zach. So if you're lucky enough to have £1 million, good luck. Good luck to you from me, Leroy, and young Cal. We have no issue with you whatsoever. But billionaires, nah, that's too much, innit? It's too much. OK, some more questions. How many billionaires are they living in the UK? I'll answer that. According to the Sunday Times Rich List, they do a list every year of the richest 350 people living in the UK. They were last year, 2025, 156 billionaires living in the UK. Number 1 on that list was a bloke called Gopi Hinduja and family. He had £35.3 billion. Now, apologies if I have pronounced your name wrong, Gopi. But, you know, I'm sure the money will help you cope with that disappointment. If we were to go back 35.3 billion minutes, it would be, according to my computer this is, thank you AI for destroying the planet. Please remember how polite I am to you when you take over. So, going back 35.3 billion minutes from the current date, so February 2026, would place you in the year 65,091 BC or BCE, before Christian era. So, over 67,000 years ago. I could ask other questions, and I could look up the answers on the internet. Maybe the answers might make our Cal, me or Leroy feel more kindly disposed towards billionaires. Maybe they wouldn't. But here's some questions that I would like to know answers to. I might look them up later, the answers, when I have more time. So here we go. Do some billionaires use their money to help others? Here's a question. Here's another question. Are the royal family billionaires? I looked up that one, yes, but they're only number 20 in the Sunday Times Rich list, apparently. How much of the land in the UK is owned by billionaires? How much of the land in the world is owned by billionaires? Which billionaires are linked with evil doing? There's a good question. Do any billionaires pay tax? Do billionaires manipulate political systems all around the world? Have billionaires undermined democracy all around the world or just here in the UK? Do billionaires commit more crime than the average person? Are billionaires more likely to get away with crimes? Are billionaires good for the economy? Or do they just create monopolies and crush any small business or people that get in their way? All them questions there. Can you think of more questions? I'm sure you can. Please add them in the comments section. Wow, thanks Dan. Good work there. Plenty of food for thought. A sumptuous feast fit for a billionaire for thought, really. Okay, so that's scraping the surface of the questions. Time to move on to strategy 3, which is mind your language, which we said last week was like how our language can affect how we think about things. So, and Eddie was going to be doing this one, wasn't he? But we'll have a little reshuffle, and whilst we organise that, I'm going to play that song I mentioned earlier, We've Got More. This song was released last year, written by moi, that's French, you know, and performed by Yo y mi amigo Senor Testicle. That's Spanish for me and my buddy Sir Terence Tickle. So here it is. You can find this on all the musical distribution platforms, Apple, Amazon, Spotify, YouTube, and so on. Here we go. We've Got More by the Cartoon Killers.
It's hard to stay hopeful. It's easier to feel small. Those who think that they are rich might say that we are poor. They may have all the stuff, but we've got more. You love your helicopter. Your wife is really fit. Your kids seem accomplished, but really they're little shits. Clearly little shits. You bought yourself a football team for something cool to do. You thought you brought adulation. Now the fans all hate you too. They all hate you too. It's hard to stay hopeful. It's easy to feel small. Those who think that they are rich might say that we are poor. They may have all the stuff, but we've got more. Your helicopter crashed and burned whilst you were flying it. Your wife was with her yoga teacher, really loving it. Really loving it. Your shares are now worthless. Your property falling down. Your wife now misses yoga. Your kids are sound. Now you're not around. easy to feel small. Those who think that they are rich might say that we are poor. They may have all the stuff, but we've got more. They may have all the stuff, but we've got more. They may have all the stuff, but we've got more.
Well, lovely. I hope you enjoyed that. Special mention to Mr. Terence Tickle, who played the drums and grand piano on that recording. So, back to the matter in hand. Unfortunately for Leroy, he drew the short straw and will be standing in for Eddie. Over to you, Leroy.
Oh no, Cal. Don't feel sorry for me. It's a showbiz thing. An unlucky break for the lead gives an opportunity to the understudy. I will, however, perform this role in my normal, natural speaking voice.
The only brummy I know speaks like he does.
You will not distract me from my professional focus, Daniel. Back to the task in question. Examining and trying to dilute judgmental attitudes towards billionaires. In last week's episode, we discussed Eddie took the lead, how heavy judgmental words, for example, I wouldn't normally hesitate to use the phrase evil billionaires, it feels natural, but that kind of phrase is inevitably going to raise some powerful emotions within me. If they're evil, carrying out evil acts, how do I feel about it? Well, angry, powerless, frustrated for starters. For example, in the current news, we have the Effridge Epstein documents, telling the world how a group of the wealthiest, most powerful people use their power to corrupt, exploit, use other humans as casually as you or I might cough into a tissue or a paper handkerchief and then throw it away. These stories make me seethe with rage. But what can I do? Can I encourage my political leaders to act? No, they have been bought, either directly or indirectly. In this country, allegedly, Mandelson and Keir Starmer. And for example, am I or Cal or Dan willing to take direct action? Get a series of weapons and take on the bad people, as would Arnie, Stallone, or Jason Statham, or John Wick. Would we do that? Would we? Obviously, we are all physically and psychologically well equipped to take on such a challenge. However, I am not willing to. Repeat, not willing to. I definitely won't be doing that. And neither would Cal nor Dan. I know them well. I also think Eddie is unlikely to take such a course of action. Certainly not unless he was feeling very hungry. So, yes, I am helpless. How can words help? Well, I suppose changing a few little words might help. So, for example, evil, in my cultural heritage, comes with connotations of the devil, Satan, Lucifer, Beelzebub, a powerful entity, a former angel, a former helper of God. In other words, more than human. I have created these connotations in my brain through that one word, evil, not intentionally, but inevitably. This association is likely to lead me to feel more helpless and hopeless without really thinking it through. It has been said before, repeatedly perhaps, that we are all great fans and followers of the Blind Boy podcast. In Blind Boy's 4th of February 2026 episode, titled
a deep dive into Jeffrey Epstein, Blind Boy draws parallels between organised criminal gangs and how they operate with the machinations, mechanics of the Epstein circle and their related circles and associates. This parallel, this changing of language, for me, makes this group of people appear more vulnerable, even if it's a marginal thing. Criminal gangs do get taken down. Harder to take the devil down himself. So, in this current example, if instead of saying evil billionaires, I say some criminal billionaires, I'm still speaking to my personal truth. I'm being honest with myself. I'm still saying that what I currently think about them. But I make them more human and vulnerable. It is fair to call billionaires criminal, is it? Is it fair? Well, it is reported that Balzac, the French novelist and playwright from the early 1800s, whose work I am both familiar and fond of, said, behind every, or he would have said it like this, behind every great fortune is an equally great crime. We were taught at school that Jesus said, it is harder for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven than for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle. That's the New Testament, Matthew 19:24, Mark 10:25, and Luke 18:25. So, if I'm not being fair to billionaires using the words criminal and billionaire together, I am in good company. Haha, yes. So, by changing some of the associated descriptive words I could use with billionaire, diluting them, without being untrue to my personal emotions on the topic, I can help tackle my inner unhelpful judge a bit and the associated inner unhelpful helplessness that those feelings promote. Okay, that okay, Cal? Dan? Excellently, especially when you weren't expecting it.
Yeah, great, Leroy. It really did. Now, only joking. Great to hear your natural voice. Yeah, still joking. Anyway, you deserve a cup of tea after that show-stopping performance, Lee. Come on, intermission, got any ice cream, Cal? Can you dress up as one of them usherettes?
You hush yourself up, Dan. Okay then, gentlemen, are you ready to get back to work?
Yeah, let's get on with it.
Yeah, okay, right. The next strategy is empathy. In the last episode, we called this beating the judge with empathy. We said that, similar to questioning / investigating, it was hard to be judgmental and empathic at the same time.
Yes, I'll carry on with the empathy bit. I have prepared something. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm auditioning for a part in a film next week. I'm up for the role of a Welsh organised crime boss. It's set in Swansea, I believe. This crime boss is actually in the pay of the local billionaire. He does all the dirty jobs for him. Seems a great role. Anyway, I'd like to use this opportunity to practice my accent. Is that okay with you, boys?
Yeah, of course, Lee.
I suppose so, although I have had to listen to it all the way here in the car. I'm sure Eddie faked that phone call just so he could get away. I need to work out how to do that. Thanks, gentlemen. Lovely. Here we go. So, as Cal was saying, we're now going to beat the judge, stop the potential judgmental attitude within us, bringing ourselves down by unleashing the mighty weapon that is empathy.
I will start by quoting Cal's words from that cartoon killer song he just played, We've Got More. Cal sings, "You may have all the stuff, but we've got more." In that, I would suggest he is empathizing with the billionaire in question. He is empathizing that the billionaire is using his vast wealth, buying the football club, in order to seek the adulation of its fans. Because basically, deep down, he feels unloved and isolated. He sees the togetherness, the belonging, the passion of the fans, the poor, ordinary folk he generally looks down on, and he feels envy. For all his money, he is lonely and isolated. Just below the surface, he knows his so-called friends would drop him like a flash if he suddenly lost all his money. His wife is extremely physically attractive, but he has always believed that her main interest in him is his extreme wealth. He can never enjoy his children. Money always seems to be in the way. And his fear that they could be kidnapped means whilst they're out, they are always accompanied by armed bodyguards. And in their fortress home, they tend to withdraw to their high-tech bedroom suites. He never sees them. And when he does, he feels all they see him as is a big bag of cash. I could go on. You do go on, mate. Oh, very witty, Daniel. I could go on, but basically the billionaire's life is a rather sad and empty one, devoid of the warm tapestry of community, diversity, and that we're all in it together feeling we have. But even more importantly, the wonder of knowing what it is to love and be loved without money being a factor. That knowledge that we all enjoy, the love of true friends. Yes, the love of true friends, like what we've got. Well, knock me down with a feather. You're bringing a tear to my eye, Leroy. Absolutely. Ah, beautiful. Group hug, everyone. Back off, back off the pair of you. So, in terms of being judgmental of billionaires, using the strategies outlined in last week's episode, I have now moved through noticing my judgmentalness to becoming aware, questioning my thoughts, becoming more open-minded, diluting my language without denying my underlying feelings. Then through the power of empathy, I've started to feel some empathy, even sympathy for them billionaires, living their empty, shallow lives. I suppose bearing all that in mind, bearing all that you've said in mind, Leroy, I may even empathise that maybe they would like to give up all their wealth. Maybe they'd like to share their wealth, do some good in the world. But even if they manage to do that, maybe they worry that without all the trappings of their wealth, maybe they couldn't cut it with us ordinary people. Maybe they wouldn't have enough character, they worry, or personality to attract warmth from others without their huge wads of cash. I mean, underneath, they must have very fragile egos, mustn't they? So I suppose instead it's easier to stick to being billionaires. But, be forever damned morally for their greed and selfishness. Oh, tragic. Poor billionaires. It's a bleak life for them. Indeed it is. My heart is breaking for them.
Well, I can only hope they find some strength to do the right things. Maybe start by paying some taxes instead of dodging them all, with offshore banking and the fake companies and all that stuff.
Well, that's it then. We've practiced the first 4 strategies. The 5th strategy is rehearse the strategies, so I've just done that. The 6th is put them into practice with and around your people. Well, we've just done that now, haven't we? So, okay, gentlemen, we finished for this week then? Shall I stick the kettle on? Then maybe we can give Eddie a ring and see how damp he is?
Yeah, do that.
Yes, and whilst you do, I will say thanks for joining us, folk. Like and subscribe, and come back and join us next week. And spare a thought for the poor, lonely, morally bankrupt billionaires of the world. Help them find the courage to pay their taxes and generally contribute instead of just taking. Sending love to all.
Yeah, including the billionaires. You can do it. Pay your taxes. Stop exploiting. Try a little tenderness. Bye for now, everyone.
Bye. Bye, everyone. See you soon. Bye, everyone. See you soon.
Oh, bye, everyone. See you soon.